Hello and welcome back. Beyond the Veil. Get ready for this one, because most will not understand what's being talked about, but I will try. In every story of creation, everywhere across the face of this earth, from the Bible to the Quran to everything else, the only thing in creation that was never built for us was the water. And the Spirit on the waters deep. Yet we were told about the Tower of Babel being built. Here's the kicker, you guys. One that a lot of people will never wrap their minds around. Everything here was built for us from the Tower of Babel, from the seafloor up. There are no trees on the seafloor. There are no plants the way we would look at the plants on the seafloor up here on the land. In other words, when it talks about heaven and God, it talks about the things in the sea. When the Jews go to share the name of God, they go onto the water. Why? That is a dogon practice of the worship of the sea creatures, the ones that live for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, that are huge. We're not talking our size, we're talking something small. We are small in comparison to them. A good example is look at the sunfish and stuff like that. These are the creations of the original Garden of Eden. They built up from the floor to the heavens above. And that's the kicker. I mean, I've looked, I've checked, I've never found anything that shows anything different. It is hard to understand. It is hard to grasp. That's where we came from. We came from the sea. We did not come from the land. The things that were here were flooded out because they destroyed, and they ate, and they ate, and they ate. But there is a higher force other than the dogons, or the religion of the worship of the water. Because if you look, Genesis, it tells you the land and the heavens above were created for us, yet it never talks about the waters of the sea, the waters of the deep. They were there. It never says that they were created. It just says that they were there. So when you look at it and try to claim that, oh no, I have a question for you. I was taught, and I learned, and I walked from the Statue of Liberty on Ellis Island at the Visitor Center. I had a private tour. Then again, there were other things going on at that point. And yes, it did deal with flirting, but still, that's neither here nor there. I ended up walking from the Statue of Liberty on Ellis Island, not on Liberty Island. And that's less than 50 years. If they can do this with history and have you convinced that, oh no, the Statue of Liberty is on Liberty Island, they have you exactly where they want you. Because you're not smart enough to think that, to ask questions. You're not smart enough because it shows that you're willing to accept their lies. Because they tell you, well, no, this is his H-I-S, story, S-T-O-R-Y. It's just like the word can and cannot. Alright, when you make a contraction of those two words, you can write it C-A-N-N-T. Alright, and you know it's a contraction. Or C-A-N-T. And you know what it stands for. And you know it's a two-letter word. It's a two-word letter, or two-word word, that means cannot. Yet when you look at his story, you don't see the same thing. You're taught that, oh no, this is not what it means, but it matches the same principle. It matches the exact same concept of a contraction, of a two-word, single word stating, as in can't. Just like there are individuals out there who will argue that numbers are infinitive. I mean, that's like saying cat is a letter of the alphabet. You only have a set number of different little bitty signs. I'm not talking about the system. I'm talking about the real numbers. You start your count with 0. Because without 0, you can't add 1 to it and get 1. Then from 1, you get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Those are the only 9 digits that are separate. It's like saying, like I said, saying cat is a new letter of the alphabet. And it's not. It is a mix of the 26 letters of the alphabet that are each individual, that are different, and not the exact same. I mean, saying 10 is a number, I'm not going to deny that. That's part of the system. But that's a mix of 1 and 0, or CAT. It makes a word. It's a numbers word. The same as, they're not letters. CAT are letters, but they form words when you mix them together. The same thing with numbers. Numbers follow a set pattern. Words follow the same set pattern. Saying that this one set pattern works here but not here is insanity. Claiming that there's an infinite numbers is banker's math. There are not infinite numbers. There's infinite values, which is not the same thing as numbers. There's a difference. You have 0 through 9 as numbers. They are each independent. They are each individually shaped differently. However, if you're going to claim that cat is a new letter, there's no help for you. Because when you claim 10, you're claiming the same concepts. You're talking about the system. I'm not talking about the system. If you have to resort to changing the question to fit the system, they have you exactly where they want you. Stupid enough to pull the trigger, yet not smart enough to ask if you should. This is where they want you. This is what their objective is. If you're not smart enough to ask, if you're not smart enough to look for yourself, it's not their problem, is it? It's your problem, because you're stupid enough to listen. You're stupid enough to buy into it. Just like these quote-unquote scientists who and what physical object was used for measuring from the earth here to either the sun and moon. What physical object? None? I mean, I can take a boat on a river on a calm day and measure exactly how much water is coming down that river and estimate exactly how much fuel I'm going to be using. However, if there's a downpour upstream that I can't see, that information changes. Without a physical object to measure, that changes. that distance changes. And if you want to claim that, well, no, it doesn't, you're insane. What physical object was used to measure from here to the sun or here to the moon? None? No physical object was used? So how can you tell me it's a certain distance when I can look at a boat on a river and I know this? It's insanity to think that, well, there's only one light in the sky because someone told me. What proof do you have? What proof do they have in making that claim? None. They cannot prove it other than with CGI. And what's CGI? Well, look at your monitor. From 7 colors, you get 16 million different colors. Let that sink in. From 7, you get this many colors. Well, does that mean you can set up something that's not real and make it look fake? Yes. Maybe that's where they got the concept that, oh, there's only one light in the sky. You know what? No, there's not. You know why? You got this thing called red and blue shift. You got one light that's red. You got one light that's blue. Hey, guess what? You got 2 lights, not one. Wow. I mean, there is no one out there who can say 100%, well, this is the method that was used. All we have are stories. We have fake stories from NASA. NASA was created by Nazis. Let that sink in. It wasn't created by the government. It was created by the Nazis that won World War II. Wake up. Bye.